Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Carmen Rogers with Tallapoosa Publishers. It is Thursday, March the 12th. I'm here at the Board of Education with Tallahassee City Schools Superintendent, Mr. Wade Shipman. Mr. Shipman, the coronavirus has been in the headlines, and while it's not a time for panic, it is a time for concern. Can you tell us some of the measures that Tallahassee City Schools are putting in place to kind of stop this virus before it even starts?
Sure. Well, I'd be glad to. And to begin with, I want to thank you for being here and helping us get this message out to the public. But in the last couple of weeks, we received a letter from the State Department of Public Health that was sent out to public entities like schools that gave some warnings, and it also gave some recommendations of which we've been doing our best to follow. We shared that with our administrative staff and our schools at that time. Then last week we got together and we basically at that time I drafted our own response, and that was off of some of the information in that letter as well as several other websites that we've gone to try to follow up and make sure we had the most current information that we could have. And so as we looked at developing our strategy, we're looking at doing several things. Certainly the health and well-being of our students is at the forefront of everything we do. So we certainly are wanting to give the best guidance, and certainly want to make sure that we can, if there's a way to educate our students and the public at the same time, we'd like to do that. So we've developed our strategy, and really our strategy is kind of ongoing. It's going to shift depending on what the state and the federal government do. We actually are following state guidelines. Tomorrow we're actually going to meet at Elmore County with several leaders in Elmore County. We're going to discuss what we're doing at the county level and how this all kind of fits together. I've met with each of our building principals multiple times to talk about messaging, get the word out of what we need to be doing. One thing is there are some healthy habits that have been established, in terms of whether we're talking about the coronavirus or we're talking about the flu. There's some things that we can do and do better to make sure that we're not passing this along. And one of them is we've read this, and it says basically one of the things that you can do, the most basic thing you can do that might help the most, is just wash your hands and wash your hands properly. So we've begun trying to get that message out, make sure our kids, and actually going into elementary classrooms and teaching our kids how to wash their hands for the right amount of time without, our goal here is to try to limit the spread of it if it ever gets into our state and into our schools. There's that. Other healthy habits like practicing social distancing. A lot of times people aren't shaking hands right now because it's passed on by that hand-to-hand contact. If you blow your nose, wash your hands after you blow your nose. All this contact is what helps spread the virus. The other thing is, if you're symptomatic, if you're running a fever, go get tested. We've really not had that many people tested in Alabama, but that's probably going to change. So if you're symptomatic, go get tested. If you're running a fever, what we ask is that you're fever-free, and that's fever-free without medications for 72 hours. And so all these things are going to help us keep the virus from spreading, because that's our real goal at this time, just keep it from spreading. And then over time, the medical community is going to develop better and better strategies of how to respond to this.
All right. There are confirmed cases in all of our neighboring states, but again, there have not been any confirmed cases here in Alabama. So we just want to reiterate, this is not a cause for panic, only a cause for concern.
Yes, and I would agree with that, although I think if it's all around us, it's probably just a matter of time before there are going to be some cases here in Alabama. And what I would say to that is, again, we're trying to be as prepared as we can. And the other thing is that as schools, our goal is to keep our students safe, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be proactive. We again are taking guidance from the State Department of Education, the State Department of Public Health, any agency or group that has recommendations. We're doing our best to follow those, and even our own local nurses. I think they've done an outstanding job so far of just trying to monitor it. and making sure that we don't have any infections here that we're not knowledgeable of. But they've done a great job, and I think our principals and administrators have been doing a really good job of trying to stay ahead of this the best they can. And then the other side of this is what happens if we close school. Well, that would be a scenario that we're going to just have. That would be an ongoing discussion that we're going to have to see how we handle that. There have been a lot of cancellations in terms of athletics. The NBA has basically canceled their season, and the same thing is true of the NCAA basketball tournament. Mm-hmm. And so there have been a few things like that have been going on. So we will follow the guidance of the state and do what's best for the students here in Tallahassee.
All right. Well, thank you for all that information. I'm sure it's very helpful. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Carmen Rogers reporting for Tallapoosa Publishers.